Question is very sharp and precise. Is this the strongest team ever? So I want to start by asking Amrit Mathur first. You've seen so many teams over the decades. When you look back at specific teams, specific years, specific captains, is there a team that, according to you, comes close to how dominant and how strong this team has been?
No, clearly I think this is the best ever. I can understand Mr. Gavaskar's reasons, and they are valid. The game has changed, difficult to compare. But this is a team of 11 top quality players, and all the top quality players playing at the peak. I think this is the one characteristic which separates this team from others. 11 players, all in top form. Suddenly when we are batting, it looks as if we got 6 Sehwags coming in, 1 to 6, and with Rohit Sharma showing away. And there have been 10 matches. And do you even remember one failure in the Indian team? You had everybody contributing, everybody, making a mark. For instance, let me give you an example. In the New Zealand game, Mr. Gavaskar referred to this partnership between Mitchell and Williamson. At a crucial time of the game, Kuldeep Yadav came and bowled 2 very tight overs. That changed the game, and that took the game away from New Zealand. So my point is, definitely this is the strongest Indian team, dominant, efficient, and playing with a certain calm and confidence which we have not seen in any other team. Credit to Rohit Sharma, as Mr. Gavaskar said, but I would think that this is clearly the best white ball team India has had.
Pradeep Magazine, in your years covering Indian cricket, can you with confidence say that this is the strongest Indian team ever to walk out of the park?
Well, yes, the kind of cricket they played over these 10 matches, if you just isolate whatever they did before that and just look at their performance, I would say yes, it does appear to be one of the, or maybe the most invincible team I have seen. But
is that because this is in India? If this was happening, say, in South Africa or England or New Zealand, would it have been very different?
Even in Indian conditions, I don't think any Indian team has dominated the way they have. But we will have to still wait till the final. Because
what's changed? Because largely the same lot didn't seem so dominant a few months ago.
I think a lot of credit I would give it to the selectors, whoever has chosen the team, because they waited for Rahul, who was injured. People were saying, why are they doing that? He's not in form. Even if he comes back, will he be able to make runs? Suresh Iyer, they waited for him. So they had already planned their team, obviously.
Which could have gone both ways.
Which could have gone both ways, but nothing succeeds like success. I mean, one call they may regret not having taken earlier is between Shami and Siraj, because Siraj had done so well, so they couldn't drop him, and suddenly Shami, the kind of spells he has produced.
Shami is playing now, which is fantastic.
Which he is playing because a player got injured. I would say we wait till Sunday, but I haven't seen a more dominant team in a World Cup apart from Australia or West Indies of the past, the way this.
So I'll come to that. We'll do a comparative with the West Indies team of the 70s, the early 80s, and the Australian team of the 2000s. But before that, Nikhil Naz, is this the strongest, the most dominant Indian team that you've ever seen?
If you ask me today, I'm going to say yes. But if you ask me on Monday, it will depend on the result. Because if this Indian team does not win the World Cup, we're not going to remember the team. Sure. That often happens, right? At a final, you stumble at the final hurdle, you'll forget all these dominating performances that they've had so far, and the 2 strongest team will then remain the one that won the World Cup in 1983 and in 2011. But having said that, if you compare it with the 2 Indian teams, and I agree with Mr. Gavaskar saying you can't compare different conditions from different era, but I think the best way of comparing is comparing it with your peers at that time, what you did, because conditions remain the same for every team while they were playing. In that, the closest comparison probably would be the 1983 team, because they're also...
Team.
Yes.
But that was hardly dominant. They barely made it through as the underdog.
I still say this is the strongest.
No, but this is about strongest and dominant. That was hardly a dominant team. They found some ways of squeezing through.
No, because I'm saying you've got to realize the difference was that West Indies was the most dominant team, right? You beat them in the opening game, you beat them in the finals, and all I say is because we remember individual performances. You mentioned that, everyone's performing. There's a Shreyas Iyer performing, KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, name it. And that was the only team that comes close, because there you had, on certain occasion, a few games, Yashpal Sharma was the star. A few games, Kapil Dev was the star. Mohinder Amarnath was a star in a few games. Sandeep Patil was a star in a few games. So were the bowlers. Madan Lal sometime. Roger Binney took a couple of Man of the Match awards. So it was spread out.